So here we are, the Boreal Forest. Fantastic.
No, I want.
Look, here we are. You can hear the crowds were actually giving us coffee over there. Takes away the natural experience, but it's fantastic. Look, here we are.
40 plus years ago, 43 years ago actually, and it was actually done a lot. Harald can probably tell you a little bit more about the actual history of this specific site because I think he helped build it somehow. I think he made the drawings for it, right? And the idea behind this water lock that could sustain itself without actually adding any heat. But now we have a little infrared heater in there since we have power. Tell me what you did to them down towards the riparian area and changing its biogeochemistry as we move down.
Smile. Hjalmar Laudon, professor at Forest Landscape Biogeochemistry at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. Drips is a concept of, we call them discrete riparian input zones, or drips, and those are landscape elements that are where the water is channeled into a specific point that drain into the stream would have a disproportional large influence on the stream water chemistry.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because now we have like 90 loggers in Krycklan measuring.
Here is the Carry team on fieldwork expedition in the Boreal Forest.
Energy fluxes. And then for the atmospheric system we have a profile of 3 different levels where we measure also CO2, but also methane and carbon monoxide. And from the top level we can
Wow. Oh, wow, yeah. Sorry, I was making a little video here. So, what do we got here then?
We have got a bunch of instrumentation. Here we generate electromagnetic waves. They go through a whole bunch of cables to the top of the antennas at the top of the tower. We get reflections from the forest. Signals come back. We send them here. We transfer everything to Gothenburg. We control everything from Gothenburg. Nobody has to be here.
Fantastic.
So there's just a bunch of insects that make a house here.
I've been walking through the forest for about 20 minutes and I come across this lake and this little house. Fantastic. Maybe we're going to have a little lunch break here, maybe? I don't know.
If you're familiar with a sort of classic mountain prospects around,
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Where are you from?
From the north of England, from Lancaster University.
You don't have a lot of big cities, right?
Nice here. Lovely lunch. So one of the things about this forest is that it's an amazing study that's been going on for decades, and just found out that the phosphate is declining. At least they got a 10-year record on phosphate, but mostly it's just phosphate that they've analysed, or I think SRP, and there hasn't been any other phosphate analysis done. And it just strikes me that we just need more phosphate data in these forests, really. Historically, the way the work's evolved in these types of experiments, there wasn't such a phosphate drive back in the time, thinking that they were nitrogen limited, or maybe they had the origins in the acid rain story or something like that. But we really need to get some phosphate analysis done here, and it needs to be part of the story. So let's get on it.
Over at Aarhus University, there's a lot of wetland and more hooked on to being a focus down on something.
So we're up on one part of the Krycklan Catchment now, which is, they call it the mire. It's basically a kind of big flat watershed area you can see around here. And the key story here is that it's a classic story of peatland change and peatland restoration. So in the 1920s, this area here was it was drained because it was very wet. The thinking at the time was to improve the forestry by draining it, and that's what they did. Wasn't so successful in achieving the forestry outcomes, I think. But then, very recently, much more recently, as part of the restoration process, they have basically tried to bring the water table up by blocking the drains, blocking the drainage waters that go off these big drainage areas to basically to raise the hydrology, and also to have the effect of being a carbon sink as well, to try and help with the carbon cycle. So it's pretty cool. I'll show you a picture in a minute of one of the big drainage ditches which has been blocked up. You can see how it's been blocked, and that then raises the water table. I'll just take a bit of video of that for you now. Just a general picture of the mire itself. They call it the mire. Big, expansive, flat area. Added covariance tower here, looking at fluxes.
Footprint of the area of interest, which is this mire, but then we can do further quality, like get rid of the data that comes from.
So I talked earlier about the effect of the blocking of the drains, and you can see here, this is the bit here, you can actually see where my finger is, that's a blocked area. So been filled in by a digger, and it's blocked it up for the to raise the water table here. The problem is that we've just heard, though, there's a confounding factor. We've just heard, although it's really good for carbon storage and reducing carbon emissions, when you raise the water table, it has the confounding effect of increasing methane emissions. So there's always a kind of trade-off there, but that's what we're dealing with here in this mire. How interesting. There we go, look. Fika time, I think that means cake time. Is fika cake?
It's because like coffee plus something good to eat.
Cool, thank you. That looks exciting. Down there, look.